Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Not Content Podcast. My name is Jerome and joined as always by Brian. And here tonight, we are going to be continuing paying tribute to those we lost in the year 2016. We are going to be discussing Galaxy Quest in honor of Alan Rickman. Please leave a 4 or 5 star review so as to get people to find this podcast through the good old algorithm. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Click the bell icon for notifications. As mentioned, we are discussing Galaxy Quest, a movie that came out, I can't believe it, 27 years ago. This is an all-time great cast in terms of like casting the right people for this movie. Just a tale of great performances, and I include Tim Allen in that. I mean, look, Tim Allen is not a great actor. He has very limited range, but if you can get him within that range, he does a really good job here. Sigourney Weaver, always great. Tony Shaloub, very strong. Sam Rockwell, Enrico Colantani, even Rainn Wilson, and of course, Alan Rickman, who we lost too soon. He is definitely somebody who has been a part of so many genre movies, including Robin Hood, Die Hard, the Magic franchise that we don't discuss. So Alan Rickman he was a part of so many people's lives for a long time, and this is another example of it. I had never seen this before watching for this podcast, and a lot of that is because I wasn't a huge Star Trek guy. I never really saw a reason to watch it. Same going, not a huge Tim Allen fan. But I feel like I consumed this through osmosis. I never felt like I was ever spoiled about anything that was happening. I feel like I had seen bits and pieces over the years, so I feel like I'd watched the movie even without watching the movie. But I have to say, I think the thing that stands out to me the most is this is a very tight movie. This is 1 hour and 42 minutes, and I love the fact that it's 1 hour and 42 minutes. And again, I think the casting in this movie is stellar. I think across the board. Again, it's not about having all these big stars. It's about casting the right people. They cast the right people across the board, not just the top of the line people like Alan Weaver and Rickman, but also Daryl Richmond, Justin Long, his first ever movie. He does a great job just across the board. Just a tremendous cast.
Yeah, I saw this movie when it first came out, Jerome, in theaters. I didn't realize it was Christmas weekend, but I guess I watched it more in January during the break. For some reason, I remember watching it on break, but I thought it was like a spring break kind of thing. But I guess I was wrong on that one. But do you remember watching this in theaters? Like, I wasn't a Trek guy as a kid. I was a Star Wars guy. So like all these like references, it kind of went over my head. But I just enjoyed the movie because it was like a fun family sci-fi comedy with a good heart. You know what I mean? And if you look at these characters and kind of compare like the character arcs and like this compared to Purple Rain, it's like wow, like every character in this movie pretty much gets their own arc and gets their like, you know what I mean, like a full arc, and like their character improves because of it, kind of thing. Like everybody. So the writing is on point, and I think it's like an underappreciated script. And originally the script was like an R-rated script, and if you look at some of the dubbing, they took out a lot of the cuss words because they realized they had a hit with families, and if you look at the numbers, it's probably the right thing to do.
I was reading that it was a PG-13 movie, and then they made it PG.
Okay, because there's the part where Sigourney Weaver, remember there's a shot at the end where like they have to go through that tunnel thing with all the machinery, and she's like, it looks like she says "fuck that," but like they change it to "forget that" or whatever. They redub it. I guess that was the one F word you can get in a PG-13, right? You're gonna get one, so that might have been
Yeah,
it. And then they just completely redubbed it to make it PG. So smart move, I think, because it did make more money as a PG, and I think it's
because
more
it's a
effective.
PG-13 movie, you get one F bomb for the whole thing,
Right,
and that would have been the F bomb, and instead she said screw that. So
and they
I'm
kind
reading
of took
it.
out some stuff from the Tony Shaloub character. Because did you pick up on the fact that he was a stoner?
No, that would have
So
been very helpful to know.
so there's a line at the towards the end where like Sam Rockwell goes, "Are you stoned?" But I guess there was this other storyline with that I guess he was like stoned throughout the whole thing, and that's why like when he does the space trip, he's like totally like cool with it because he's
Right.
stoned.
Like part of the problem is that I do like Tony Shalhoub in this movie, but it just feels like there needed to be an explanation for why his energy, like he's almost in a different movie than everybody else, and knowing that he was stoned would have helped. But it's weird to me that Paramount released the Rugrats movie that did really well, and that is why this movie is PG. It's ridiculous to me. This absolutely should have been an R rating or a PG-13 movie. It's ridiculous. Like to go from an R rating to a PG rating is ridiculous.
I mean, it's crazy, but I guess it worked on my family because I don't think I would have seen it in theaters if it wasn't rated
Maybe so.
PG.
I mean, to me, you at
But then
least go
again,
from.
like I did watch Evolution. Do you remember Evolution, the Ivan Reitman?
Oh God,
I love
this is
that
the
movie.
this is a movie that you settle on a PG-13 rating. I actually think that it makes more money as a
Yeah.
PG-13 if this gets released now, because all the Marvel movies are PG-13, and I feel
Well,
like
get released now, yeah, but 99 was again different time and
I
everything.
feel like
So
PG movies have almost a stigma attached to them, and they're like if it's a PG movie, it might as well be like a children's movie. And I do want to point out that Toy Story 5 is PG, which is the first. This is the first Pixar movie to be PG, or I'm sorry, the first Toy Story movie to be PG.
I think it's because they talk about old man fat, but that's a whole other
That'll be
situation.
another podcast. But
Yeah.
yeah, very strong performances across the board.
Yeah, so I wanted to throw that out there because I didn't realize if you picked up on that context or not. Because the third time or fourth time I watched this movie, and I'm reading the IMDb stuff, and it's like, oh, that makes a lot more sense now. Because that's when I started smoking weed too. When I started watching this on DVD when it came out. So yeah, and I was I was working at Blockbuster, so I would rent this every once in a while. Yeah, just great stuff. And then the script I mentioned is very much, it's a parody, but it pays homage to Star Trek. And people joke that this is one of the better Star Trek movies, and I kind of joke texting Jerome like, I think this is the third best Star Trek movie,
I'm
according
not
to
sure I
our
would
ranking.
go that far, but I can certainly
You could see
understand.
top five. You could see top five, right? Like it's
I
in
could
that
see.
kind of
I mean,
realm.
I'm a huge fan of 2, 3, 4, and
Me
First
too. And
Contact.
I think three is super underappreciated, but I
Uh
would
huh.
go Star Trek 2, Star Trek 4, and then Galaxy Quest in terms of like the rank. If you want to call this a Star Trek movie, but again, it's very much in tone with that, and like the stuff you would see on the TV show that wouldn't make sense. That's like we question now in the modern realm.
Yes.
But I just find it weird that like this interpretation of Sigourney Weaver's character, where she doesn't necessarily run the computer, she just talks to the computer. And I kept thinking like I think that's a miss. Is it called a misnomer, or like misremembering kind of thing, where
Yes.
like that didn't actually happen in the show because O'Hara was literally like typing on the computer like all the fucking time, like even though she was talking to the computer, but she was literally like typing. So I think they forgot that context to the joke of it because like there was never a thing in
Perhaps. I
Star
mean,
Trek
but they
where
also made her more of a sex object, and Uhura. I
that
mean,
is true. That was true. Yes.
that. I mean, none of they. I guess a little bit with with Troy, but like they don't really do it a lot in Star Trek. It's not a sexy time show. I don't think it's ever gone for that
But
vibe.
then again, we forget that like Next Generation had already like had us run too. So I'm assuming that's like you just mentioned Troy and all the different females to go through all the
I
captain's
mean,
lives as
Star Trek
well.
had a horny side to it, but I mean, honestly, that was more of the original, but it wasn't explicitly Uhura that was horny. It's more just everybody
Kirk.
else.
Yeah. And
I assume that they made Tony Shalhoub's character a stoner to contrast with Scotty being a drunk.
I'm not sure. I think there's the other thing too. His name is Chan. So I'm thinking like this was supposed to be an Asian character, like Sulu, but then they ended up with Tony Shalhoub, and he just kind of like did his own thing, and they're like, "Yeah, it's working. Let's just keep him and still name him Chan."
Yeah,
Which I think that was a mistake that they should have changed his name because even '99, this still kind of rubs me the wrong way. And I don't know if Tony Shalhoub is actually like part Asian or whatnot, but still, like Chan is, I don't know, still kind of rubs me the wrong way. But on the other
perhaps.
hand, like all the other casting is good. Like I love the fact that the little kid uh is supposed to be the Wesley Crusher of the show, and like he's the
Except he was
pilot.
way less annoying. Way less
Way
annoying.
less annoying, I guess that's true. And then instead of him like help fighting the aliens, he's got to train because he can't remember how to pilot, which I found hilarious because like it's basically learning how to like relearn how to ride a bike kind of thing, but at the same time you're not actually using like actual physics behind the buttons. So it's like very weird. It's like learning how to control a video game, but it's real life, and that's kind of like the dilemma that dude's in. So I always found that fascinating because it's like learning on the fly kind of thing. And you see it earlier in the movie when he's trying to like exit the dock. And of course, like that's a trope to every Star Trek movie, especially the first movie, right? Where that long extended shot of the Enterprise exiting the dock, and this fucker just like totally swerves to the right and scrapes the
Yes.
wall. Oh, I totally relate. As a person who can't really drive well, I totally relate, dude, because that's a real thing, and I thought that was so good.
Well, it
Uh,
felt like they were going for like the first because like the first Star Trek is infamous for the amount of shots of the ship and like
Especially the
really showing
director's cut. The
scope.
director's cut is even longer. So
So I think they were going for that vibe, and I think they smartly they did a good job. But I mean, to me, I think this movie is incredibly successful because of the casting decisions. I don't necessarily think that this for me this movie isn't perfect, but I think that it gets a lot of things right. And again, I love the runtime. I love the fact that they are able to tell this story in an efficient amount of time and keep the vibe of a Star Trek episode, not going too big, not trying to be epic, because I think that's the problem. Whenever Star Trek tries to be too epic, I think that's where it fails. And I think that was true in the original six. I think that was true also for Next Gen, especially like the last movie, the one with Patrick Stewart's clone in it. Like that movie is a failure because it's trying to do too much. But I think that when it's telling a smaller story like this, I think Star Trek 2, 3, and 4 are really successful because those three movies are so much smaller in scale.
for sure, and it does feel like this was like a plot of an episode, so to speak, of the Galaxy Quest show, but just expanded into real life and trying in real life drama and stuff like that. So that was a good little take
Yeah.
on it. It's
So
not like
I
the
do
whole
want
Earth
I
is like I just
right.
want to
It's
say like
not
if
Earth.
this
It's
was
not
like the Earth like gonna explode or something. It wasn't that. It was just saving an alien race, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So that was a really interesting take, and that's something like Kirk would do, I think.
yeah. I think that's perfectly acceptable. So I do want to point out that Tim Allen has played a fake space commander twice. Technically, he's done it six times, but in two different iterations, basically, as Buzz Lightyear and
Right.
the
And
commander
in
of
both iterations, either he has to drop the
Earth.
bomb to someone or someone drops the bomb on him, that the whole situation is not real. He's not a real space commander. He's not a real captain of a ship. And those are like, I was just like, wow, how did I not see this before? But on this viewing, I was like, this is so parallel to that first Toy Story. And we got
I
Toy
mean,
Story 5
maybe
coming
that's
out.
why they cast him, and that's. I mean, that's
I
again,
think
that's
that's it
fantastic.
too, because like if you can't actually get Shatner and he's not willing to play ball, and it's probably best you don't have the original cast
I
anyway.
don't. I think that's a terrible idea. I feel like if this movie gets
Right.
made now, they get cameos from these people, and it's bad. I think the fact that there are no cameos actually makes the movie better.
Because it's like its own self-contained universe kind of
It
thing.
is
And
its
there's
own self-contained
yeah,
universe,
and
and
that works a lot
like I know
better
that
that
there's
way.
been talk of sequels or TV shows.
No,
I'm
I
glad
don't
this
think
one's
so.
done.
I think this is kind of like one and done. Like unless you want to do like
No, there
just the
was there was consideration. I mean, Paul Scheer was literally hired to do
oh,
like a
that's
script
right. I
at one
remember we did
point.
talk about this before.
I think
But I think
so.
yeah, but like I think Justin Long is the only story you can really tell. Like he's the only him and
I
Sigourney
have
Weaver
zero
maybe.
interest. I don't. I
But like,
mean,
what's
is
the
there?
story you want to tell? Like, does he become like a
Well, the
space
fact that
person
Alan
after this
Rickman is
incident?
the fact. Here's the thing: Alan Rickman's dead. I don't think you can do the movie without Alan Rickman. Period. End of story. I just don't think
That I
that.
think we yeah, I'd agree on that because I got the quote right in front of me, man. You got the, well, I know you never heard the quote before. Maybe you did, and you just didn't put two and two together. But here's the famous quote by Grabthar's hammer, by the sons of Voran, you shall be avenged. And the fact that like he's so resistant to like embracing this character's legacy, just really like it kind of like reflects real life because you know like there's these actors out there that don't want to like acknowledge their past legacy. We see it on the wrestling circuit, right? People are embarrassed of their past gimmicks. A guy like Matt Bourne didn't like being Doink the Clown, but he went on to be on the con circuit to be Doink the Clown just to get paid, and he ate it. But you look at a
Yep.
guy like Fred Ottman, who embraces the Shockmaster gimmick and makes so much money out of it and loves the fans, right? And that's the Tim Allen perspective. It's like he knows that he has this weird, somewhat funny legacy in Hollywood, but he embraces it not just for the money, but he loves the fans, right?
Well, I do think it's funny that he's played a fake commander, but he's never done what he actually is, and that's be a drug snitch. Never done that in movies.
That's true, or at least to my knowledge, I haven't fully watched Santa Claus 2. For some reason, I've seen 3, but that's the full version of 2. But yeah, it's Tim Allen.
I
he's very picky about his roles because he doesn't want to get that, that mugshot brought up again. And I get it. I
I
get
think
it.
it's amazing to me that in 1991, when Toy Story got cast, they cast Tom Hanks, who was not a movie star at that point, and they cast Tim Allen like just before Home Improvement came out. And how lucky did they get having Tom Hanks and Tim Allen in 1996 or 95 when Toy Story came out? When Tom Hanks is coming off two straight Academy Awards and Tim Allen is one of the biggest stars on TV. How lucky did Pixar get? And obviously, there's a number of factors, but I mean, it's unbelievable. The thing about Tim Allen is I don't think people can really understand like how big of a star he was in the 90s because it's not like he just had Home Improvement and Toy Story. Like he had the Santa Claus franchise. Like those movies made a lot of money. Galaxy Quest is like a cult classic. It's not a huge hit. But like this is a cult classic. Like it's funny to me that Tim Allen is kind of a joke, and he deserves to be. I mean, I personally don't like him, but we do have to acknowledge the fact that he has made some very interesting movies and especially movies. I would say he's done some good work.
Yeah, and it kind of goes off the rails a little bit with like a Joe Somebody and all these other movies he gets more creative control over in the next couple of years because of the
Yeah,
success.
again, he has a range, and then he tries to get out of his
And then it
range,
kind of
and it's
peaks
bad.
and then goes back to ABC, does that show again, and then, I think Santa
I
Claus
mean,
2 and 3 are
that
made after
show
that.
had. If I were to tell you the amount of episodes that show had, it would stun you.
I want to say 7.
I'm gonna look it up.
Okay,
Stall for
well,
time.
the thing is like, I don't know, because he's like, the Santa Claus 2 and 3 came out like in the 2000s. So to me, it's like, I don't know. He got lucky, I think, in the 2000s. Like, I think those two movies really saved his career. And then Toy Story 3 came out, and then it kind of like brought him back. And then he got the TV gigs again. So I think he got lucky with, especially with Santa Claus 2. Because as a kid, I saw the original in theaters and thinking like,
You also
when I
make
heard,
your own luck at a certain point. Like, I mean, getting
yeah,
involved with the Toy Story franchise is
right.
literally one of the best
But I'm
things
saying like
that
he kind of
can
faded a
happen.
little bit. He kind of faded a little bit with those obscure early 2000s movies. And then Santa Claus 2 like kind of brought him to the forefront. It's like, wow, we're gonna make a
All
franchise
right,
around
let's
this
talk
character.
about Last Man Standing. I want you to guess how many episodes of Last Man Standing there are. It
150.
is 194 episodes.
Wow,
Can
Jesus,
you believe it?
that's a lot. Considering like I watched a lot of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Z had like 260, and that's even a lot for that. So
It
190 is
is
like Jesus.
incredible to me
Yeah.
that
So, and not only that, I think it actually they brought in the his ex co-stars from Home Improvement on that show as well. I think I saw that clip a long
yeah,
time ago.
and now he's got a show called Shifting Gears. And there have been 23 episodes so far, but it is about to start its third season in the fall. I mean, it's amazing. Like
He's got
that
star power. He's
show's
got TV star power
that
now.
show's probably going to get 5 or 6 seasons.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. But let's go back to Alan Rickman really quick. I think something about this role is like kind of like so like a hidden gem for him. I think because of that. I think
It is.
what really gets me is the when it's not his friend, but the alien that's been helping him during the battle, right? And they were trying to save the people inside, and they finally save him, and then he gets shot. All of a sudden, he's like affected emotionally by it. I'm like, wow, like this dude really like is getting to the heart of this character. Like all of a sudden, he's getting these emotions that he's probably was like kind of rejecting at the beginning of the movie, and all of a sudden, he's caring for these aliens, right? And then he gives them the speech, and he gives them
Alan
the
Rickman
line.
is very
Wow,
good at getting you to care about people that are kind of shitty, and I think that has played out not only in Die Hard in this movie, in the Wizard franchise that we don't talk about. I mean, who else could have played Snape besides Alan Rickman? I don't think anyone can, and that's why I think the TV show is a huge mistake, for among other reasons. But I mean, this is what he's good at. I mean, it's Robin Hood too as the sheriff, which a movie I had mixed feelings about, but like he's really good in it, and it's for the same reason he's good in this because he's very good at making you feel sympathy for someone who's shitty.
and he's not even that shit. I think Tim Allen's the shittier character, to be honest. But
No, I mean he's just. I mean his
but for
he's
him,
more of an
it's kind of
he's
like
in a
I don't
play.
want to say Virgil, but like he doesn't really like respect his legacy. Like he's
Right.
ashamed of it. But I like this idea that he finally embraces it because like that's like a lot of fucking like I said, like a lot of TV actors that have these roles in the past that they just want to forget and then finally embrace it. Like I saw this clip years ago of the Surreal Life, right? And I know that's a really shitty TV reality show, right? But Ice Cube was not Ice Cube, Ice Vanilla Ice was on it, right? And I guess there was this thing where they were at a bar, and it was a karaoke bar, and someone started playing Ice Ice Baby, and at first you see him get pissed off, right? Like, fuck, dude, why are you fucking, you know what I mean? Like, don't bring this up. I don't want to hear it. And then everyone's like, come on, just go with it. And then finally he just starts rapping and just starts becoming Vanilla Ice like we knew in like 91. So he embraces it, right? So that's kind of like this arc for me that I just love about this character, like the shamefulness and then embracing it and then giving the dude the line at the end when he deserved it on his deathbed.
So
So that was just great.
I have a similar story. I want to be clear what I'm about to say. This is rumor and conjecture. There's a rumor that Jake Lloyd went to the school that I am an alumni of. I'm not going to say the name of the school. And that when he was a freshman and he was living in the dorms, that they were like heckling him with like Anakin Skywalker quotes. That's a rumor I heard. I cannot confirm whether that's true or not. But given what I've read about him, I feel really bad. Like I would never like my feelings on the Phantom Menace, like that performance, he's not good, but it's George Lucas's fault for him being bad, not his.
That's kind of where I'm at with this. You know what I'm saying? Like, has he embraced it yet? I don't know. But you got to embrace the
I
fact that you
mean,
were young Anakin Skywalker,
quit
man. Just
quit
own it.
acting because of a lot of the
Right.
negativity.
But I
Yeah.
think that's, yeah, man, you just got to own it. You know what I mean? Like, it's part of your legacy, dude. It's like you can't escape it no matter how far
Yeah,
you
but
want to
he
run
also
away from
has
it.
family. He also has family stuff too, and I think that,
I get that. It's just, man, it's such a shame that like this happens to like actors and wrestlers
which
and
is
like,
funny because Hayden
yeah.
Christensen is like in the opposite, right? Like he's in the opposite boat. Like he's been embraced by the fans, and
Right. Yeah.
like
And even though
he's
his performance has
not only
been
is he doing
wooden and whatever, but
like he's doing
yeah.
conventions, and he's like he's appearing as Anakin Skywalker on TV shows and still making money from it. And Jake Lloyd, unfortunately,
Yeah.
has never
That's the
ever been
difference,
able to
man.
take advantage of it.
That's the story. That's why I love this kind of like backstory of this character. So, and then really quick, you wanted to mention what's his name, Enrico Colantoni, as the main leader of the Thermians,
Enrico
right? Like,
Colantani, who is in Veronica Mars, and he's been in a bunch of other stuff. I recently saw a play that he was in as well. It was great to get him to see, get to see him actually perform, and it was really cool.
so the background of this, I guess, was that he was the first to be cast as the Thermians, and basically he kind of used like an interpretive voice recording box as like that kind of like delayed reaction response mixed in with like the cone heads, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is like a hidden gem. And you kind of mix those together and you kind of get this alien type performance that he got. And then it was so good that the director's like, okay, all the actors that are going to get cast as the alien, we got to model it after his performance. So like he became the lead
I mean,
Thermian like acting
he's so
model.
good. He is
And then yeah,
so
and then it was
good.
kind of like a mini acting school, right, to kind of like replicate what he was doing. And then you see like Dwight from The Office, I forget, Rainn Wilson do it, even though he's in the movie for a brief amount of time, and then some of the other actors, and then Missy Pyle, which is kind of weird because she's also in Dodgeball with Justin Long, and in both movies they don't talk to each other ever or acknowledge each other, so that's kind of weird. But yeah, she's really good in this role, and I love it when she's like in the car and they say that her voice box is broken, and she just screams like this random like gibberish shit, and fucking Tim Allen is like so disturbed by it. I thought that was one of the most hilarious scenes in the movie. I swear to God, I laugh out so loud every time she yells and screams that random shit. But yeah, just his performance just kind of like influenced all the other actors, and you got all these other actors doing all this weird shit, and they put the wigs on him. I think that's a great touch, and the fact they all have
It
black
is,
hair, and it's just like very specific, and it's very like on point with the Star Trek
and but
motif.
it feels like Star Trek, but it's not Star Trek. And I think that's what makes the movie successful. Is like they are stand-ins, but they change them just enough so it doesn't feel like a total. It doesn't feel like a total ripoff, which I think is a good thing.
And I want to point out Sam Rockwell, even for I don't know, he's in it for like 15 minutes, but even he gets an arc because
I
He
mean,
was not in. He was in the original show, but as like a background actor that dies, and we've
he
all
was a
seen
red
those Star
shirt.
Trek episodes.
That's what he
A
was.
red shirt. Yeah, that's right. The
That's the
official
thing,
term
man.
is a
Sam
red shirt.
Rockwell is an incredible actor, and I am very, very impressed with, like, even at this stage of his career, how good he is.
And I feel like when he was holding the gun, that he was doing a Ripley impression, right? Like that's the way he was swinging it around. Like even with, because I think he knew it with Sigourney Weaver being there on set. I just felt like he was doing
Absolutely. I
because it felt like it. So
Here's the thing. I'm very glad that Sigourney Weaver has, she's been in Ghostbusters. She's gotten to do this. She was in Star Wars. It just feels like, why wasn't she in more action movies? I will never. I mean, I get it because she has a vagina. Like that's the reason. But it really bothers me that after Aliens, she didn't get the kind of opportunities that Stallone, Arnold, or even Bruce Willis got. Like, I'm not saying she should have been like John McClane or anything in the Die Hard movies, but it just feels like she ended up in a lot of comedies. She should have been in more action movies, and it feels kind of a loss. Like other than the Alien franchise, she really hasn't gotten to be an action star, and I think she should have been.
yeah, it's tough because you have to rework a lot of those male oriented dominated scripts, right? And you can't just have
It
her as
feels
being
like
the
now she
female.
actually would have been. It feels like now she would have gotten to do that.
Yeah, yeah, like because like I know this is kind of an odd comparison, but when we watched Super Cop, it was kind of weird, or not weird, but rare to have Michelle Yao be 50-50 with Jackie Chan, right? Like that wouldn't have happened in America, right? She would have been the love interest to like a Bruce Willis, and she would have less dialogue and do less cool shit. That's kind of why I was like kind of worried when you said that. Like I don't know if she would have fit in well because like she wouldn't have gotten a starring role other than a sci-fi movie or something like that, right? Because that's the only way you kind of pull that off. Because if it's a straight up action movie, you need that lead, like the a Bruce Willis type, and he's going to say those one liners and do the explosions and stuff. So it's going to be hard to fit in. Like if I guess you can do a gender swap maybe, which could work, but you would
Yeah,
have to
it's
like.
it's it feels like
But
it's
then
too
again, you're
late
kind
at
of
this
playing that
point.
line.
It just
But
sucks, man.
yeah, so it's. I know it sucks, and especially this movie, she's not doing as much, but it does feel like she's taking a break and she's enjoying it. And that makes sense. It's like, oh, I don't have to do like the
I mean,
explosion
there's
scenes
a lot to
anymore.
this role. It's good, but it feels really unfortunate that it feels like we should have gotten more.
I'll say this: it's a good wig. It's a very good wig because
Yeah,
I
which
think
is
we've had
funny
this
because
discussion before, where like some of the wigs in some of these latest movies are just not working, like Moana. Wink, wink. With
I
Kenny
watched the
G. Rocky
Jennifer. I
Johnson.
watched. I watched the Netflix Jennifer Lopez movie, and there's some horrific wig choices being made in that movie, and it it drives me insane. Literally
Okay,
drives me insane.
because there is a wig spot in the beginning of this movie with Tim Allen that I pointed out, and it's very like
That's fine.
specifically as
See,
a
this doesn't
joke.
bother me because I feel
Yeah.
like that's the joke. Like Sigourney Weaver's wig in this movie, like that's the joke, so it doesn't bother.
Well, not even that. Like Tim Allen's is so bad. Like I mentioned, like the way Sonny Crockett's hair looked, that was just so awful in season 5. So I guess they were going for that '80s effect, and then he kind of shaved his head in the '90s. But yeah, it's that vibe. But like, yeah, just some wigs, man, they're just not working now. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is because we've had some great wig jobs before in the past, but I don't know. Makeup departments is kind of cheapening out nowadays, and they're relying more on digital or whatnot. But who knows, man? Who knows? But yeah, so the effects in this movie were actually pretty good, I'd say, especially the rock monster. I got to give credit for that. The tiny lizard guys, not so much, but the rock monster, I got to give credit for.
Yeah, it was good stuff. All right, so that is Galaxy Quest. We have another movie that we are going to be discussing. What are we discussing next week, Brian? I
You forgot
completely
already.
forgot.
It's well, we got to honor David Bowie because he's another unfortunate,
Yes,
artist we
we. Oh,
lost.
yes, I do. I do remember this. I didn't know if we
So
were
we were
doing
debating
this.
whether or not, should we do the Prestige, or should we do Labyrinth? I think we decided on Labyrinth because it's the brighter movie. Obviously, it's not as depressing, even though Prestige is a mind fuck, and that's probably his best performance. But his most iconic performance, obviously, is
His
the
what we
Duke
have to discuss his most iconic
Labyrinth.
performance.
Yeah, and if God, I've watched this movie a couple times. It's got some good value on Blu-ray to sell. Man, it's a trip because they
If you are of a certain age, this is
right,
like
and if you
your
watch
movie.
cartoons from a certain age where it's like I forget the term with the steps, where the steps are all over the place. There's a certain term for that, right? where the steps go
Mhm.
beyond the third plane or whatever it is. It's all about
Yeah.
that, man. It's a mind fuck in terms of like physical or physical set. The physical set itself is like manipulated, so it's very trippy, and that's what I love about this movie more so than anything. So we'll check it out next week.
All right, so we will be discussing Labyrinth next week, and we'll go from there. For Brian, I'm Jerome. Thank you so much for listening. We will talk to you again next week.